Hi lovelies, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. And today I'll be talking about important questions you need to ask your partner before saying I do. Yeah, before saying you do, there are some questions you should ask your partner to be sure of what you're going into. So if you're interested in such video, stay tuned to the end of today's video. So the very first one is that the question you should ask is that is there anything that you're hoping that will change when we get married? You know, some people have expectations. I'm sorry, you might hear some background noise. It might be from the rain because it's raining, and any background noise here, Sha, just please ignore it. So I'm just saying that if you should ask questions like, is there anything you are willing to see changes in when we get married? So that at least you would have start preparing yourself. How do I mean? You start preparing yourself so that in case if it's something that you cannot do without and you know you cannot cope with, it is just better to address it while you guys are still single than when you are married and you have no choice than to conform. Let it not look as if you're disobeying. You get what I mean? So you should ask questions like if there's anything you want to change in the marriage when you get married. Another question you need to ask is that you need to find out about where your partner stand, especially when it comes to kids. You know, for me as a lady, some guys will say that I want 2 kids, I want 3 kids, I want 5 kids. It depends. Why some ladies will say, I love children. I want to give birth to like 5 kids. I want to have 3 boys, 2 girls. I want to have all boys or all girls. I don't know if you get what I mean. So I'm just saying that you guys should ask questions about kids. How are you going to raise your kids? How many kids do you want to have? What are the plans you have for your kids? Even though I know that things happen, plans can change, but at least you have a knowledge of where you guys are going to. Another question you need to ask is the religious orientation. I can remember there was a time in my life where I had to stop a particular relationship with a guy because of his religion orientation. Like we were both attending Pentecostal church, but if he brings a scripture and want to study together, yes, I know that you have different view, but like his view was totally off, and I feel like if we should raise children together, we might have quarrels in our beliefs. So if you know, try to find out about your religious, your belief, what you believe in about each other, so that it's not be like, you didn't tell me this, you didn't tell me that in your church you don't do this, you don't do that, your what you believe in, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, you did not tell me. So that there will not be quarrels. So it's better to find out about religious orientation. If it's a witness, if it's a Pentecostal, if it's a Catholic, if it's a Anglican, know this and know truth. Another thing you need to find about is or her financial vision. His or her financial vision. Well, how do we spend the money? How do you spend money now? How do you intend to spend money? Your financial vision. What do you spend money on most of the time now? How do you intend to raise money for the family, and how do you also intend to contribute financially towards our family? So these are the questions you need to ask so that it won't be like, because for some families it is the men that carries the domestic responsibility. What I mean by domestic, like food, school fees, and all of that, it is the men. Why in some families it is both the man and the woman. So you need to find out, you need to know the kind of orientation he has when it comes to money. When it comes to money, you need to know. You need to know maybe he is that spender or is the saver. So you know how you guys can complement each other. So you need to know about money orientation too. Yes, another thing you need to know is that the fact that they said that sex is a sin, it does not mean that you guys cannot talk about it. So you guys need to talk about your intimacy, how it's going to look like, how many times do you want to have sex when you're married in a week, how many times, let's say rough for estimate, how many times. So you will know, because some people will enter into a marriage, you don't know how your husband is or how your wife is. You don't know, maybe your wife is that kind of person that 1 hour, 2 hours, you still need to be there, you still need to satisfy her, you need to do a lot of work to satisfy her, and you don't know, maybe your husband is that kind of person. So you need to ask to know so that it will look like, your one person is suffering and the other person is just enjoying. I don't know if you get that. Then I also, another thing I feel that we should also ask is that you should ask about household orientation. How do I mean? In some families there are some ways they don't behave, they don't do some things, they cannot do some things because of the kind of family they have, because of the kind of upbringing they have. So you should know about it, so that in case if your husband say that he cannot enter kitchen, don't go and blame him. Oh. That I'm just saying. I'm just using that kitchen as an example, because there are some people that they don't know how to cook, they know, and they cannot cook. And there are some ladies that they will tell you that as a man you cannot enter kitchen because that is the upbringing they come up with. So you say, the man cannot enter kitchen, my husband cannot enter kitchen under any circumstance. So you need to know the kind of upbringing that person have, so that there will not be quarrel, there will be less of quarrel when there is understanding. Another thing you need to talk about is you need to talk about the kind of how you are going to settle quarrels when they come. Don't wait till when quarrel come before you look for ways to settle your quarrel. Start looking for the best way for the both of you to settle your issue even before quarrel comes. So that is why I say let me come and tell you guys today. So for singles like me, single guys, single ladies, please ask your partners this question so that you know where you stand. See you in my next one, and bye for now.